Today on Dr. Phil, her marriage is wonderful.
I was a little concerned at how the family would view me being white.
But she says her in-laws
Let the broad hit the bricks.
This broad can hit the bricks.
are unbearable.
Tardis's mother said that he could get a supermodel. I wasn't pretty enough.
If Jamie wants to open this Pandora's box, we can yank it wide open.
You say she is whitewashing him?
He's totally not the same person.
You mean he's not as black as he was?
He isn't Uncle Tom.
My job in life now, be a great husband, be a great father, be a great role model to these kids. If you have to abandon your family to be all of that, then you're not successful at what you're trying to be.
Bottom line, you think she's just conniving, manipulative?
To the core.
Let's do it. Why don't we stop all the drama, stop all the fighting, and let's go get you better.
Here we go. Have a good show, everybody.
If I can help get this family back on track, are you willing to do that?
Pretty free. Take.
This is going to be a changing day in your life. Well, Jamie says her newlywed marriage to Tardis is great. That is, until her in-laws come around. She says they are unaccepting, unpleasant, and undeniably unbearable. Her husband Tardis tells his wife, hey, just brush it off, get over it. Jamie says things are so bad with his family that they have actually discussed divorce.
My in-laws are so unbearable that I'm at my breaking point.
Jamie simply cannot meet my mother's expectations.
When I first met the family, I was a little concerned at how they would view me being white.
I think my family can be racist, but it's not that they hate white people. I think they're a product of the time they grew up in. My stepfather said that I should be dating a supermodel.
Tardis's mother said to Tardis that he could get a supermodel. I wasn't pretty enough.
I personally shared that with my son, not thinking for 1 minute that my son would go back and tell Jamie this. It just flabbergasted me.
Tardis would tell me to just get over it, to move on and to be the bigger person. One time when I was 9 months pregnant, my in-laws came to my house and wanted to sleep in our bed. We did not have a spare bed, so Tardis and I had to sleep on the floor. Another time, she came to get my boys and take them to Atlanta, and I didn't even know she was coming. I told her, absolutely not.
I said, pardon me? Are you not clear that the kids are coming back to Georgia? Because I called 2 months in advance.
That really got me upset.
She took the kids and put them in a car and went to a hotel that night.
I just cannot ignore my in-laws' behavior towards me anymore. It's definitely gotten so bad with my in-laws lately that I have considered divorce.
If Jamie wants to open this Pandora's box, we can yank it wide open.
Well, that sounds like a threat, and Jamie's in-laws are here too. Now, Tardis parents Tanya and Freddie say it's Jamie that doesn't like them, and she's free to leave the family anytime.
Tardis has a bag over his head, and he doesn't even really realize how diabolical this girl really is.
Jamie's behavior toward me and my family is unacceptable.
I can't stand my daughter-in-law, Jamie. I knew exactly what type of woman Jamie really was.
My parents and wife do not get along.
Tardis is as weak as rain when he's around Jamie.
I would hear that my family felt as though I sold out by settling down with a Caucasian woman.
Jamie doesn't accept our family because we're black.
I tried to introduce Jamie into our world. I showed her different recipes that we made. I showed her how to cook some of this soul food that we were cooking because it was important to me. And my son liked to eat soul food. Jamie seemed to be very uninterested. And she said, I'm into my body, that I'm really not into cooking.
We live in a nice house in a nice neighborhood. Jamie's jealous of that. She's just like a lot of white folk who can't believe that black folk have something like this and that her people don't have it.
Jamie's a drama queen, and she can cry at the drop of a hat. Anytime she feels like things are not going her way, here comes the tears.
We all had a plan. We were all in upstate New York. The plan was for all of us to move down to Georgia. All of a sudden, she loves the ocean, so now they moved to Savannah. 4 hours away.
I feel like Jamie was the one that made my son change his mind and not want to move to Atlanta because that's where his heart was, here in Atlanta.
Tardis is scared that Jamie's gonna leave. And I'm saying, let the broad hit the bricks. She can go wherever she wants to go. Let her leave.
I feel like my son Tardis is being held over a barrel.
Adios, arrivederci, hasta mañana, get gone.
this broad can hit the bricks, just get gone?
You know, Dr. Phil, and I appreciate you having me on the show, I love my son. Tardis was always a loving, outgoing, caring person. Wasn't anything he wouldn't do for the family. We were a really tight-knit family. Every time, once Jamie came into our family, immediately things changed. But what I did is I took a step back. Now, I never had a coarse word with Jamie. That's the worst that I've ever said to her since this whole thing came out. But I'm sick of the ways they treat my wife. My wife is a loving, caring person, loves her grandkids, wants a relationship with her grandkids, and she steps goes completely out of her way to try to make Jamie feel comfortable. That's me and my whole family. We completely out of our way, and he knows how we are. We're loving, accepting people.
But you said when Tardis married Jamie, then things changed all of a sudden. Isn't that what's supposed to happen? I mean, aren't you supposed to grow up, find a wife, start your own family, begin a new generation, a new tradition, a new situation? I mean, isn't that change? Isn't that?
Phil, we're excited that he got married.
You don't seem excited.
I encouraged him to marry Jamie, didn't I, Jamie? You did. I took Jamie out to dinner. I said, Jamie, I want you to marry my son. I asked him several times to marry you. Did I not?
You did.
I said, this is what I'm looking for my son. I want him to marry a nice girl, and I want them to collaborate
But your
and have
husband
children
didn't
together.
say that. Your husband said, quote, let the broad go.
No.
She isn't that pretty
being
anyway.
the Christian I am, that's what I want for my son.
Let me speak for myself.
Since he was living with her, I wanted him to marry her. I don't believe not 1 minute to a man live with a woman and not be married to her. If she's good enough to live with him, she should be good enough to marry. And that's how I feel.
Okay.
And the reason I feel the way I feel, and like I said, I stayed out of this because I don't get in women's business like that. But the way that she started to treat my wife, the things that she did to undermine my wife in her son's eyes, I didn't like it. For example, can I give you an example? Please. My wife drove 16 hours from New York one time when she was about to have a baby. He runs out of the hospital room and tells his mother that's been on the road for some 20-some hours, this is not a good time, this is not, knowing that she was coming on her way to Savannah. This is not a good time, this is not the right time, Jamie doesn't want you guys around and this and that. This is what he told my wife.
I was going in for a C-section. It was the only reason why. There was no problem
at that time, Jamie, you weren't aware that you were getting a C-section.
Yes,
she wasn't aware that she was getting a C-section.
You were in a delivery room. You didn't even know that you were having one at that time. Since your mom didn't show up for you, I was there for you.
Right.
And I was being supportive to you.
I agree. And honestly, up until that point, everything was great. Like, we had a great relationship. When my son was born, it's kind of, right around the beginning of his life is when things started to just slowly plummet. And I could just sense they just didn't like me. But I didn't have a reason. Like, they never told me why, or I had no clue whatsoever why they just didn't like me. Like, I felt it. And Tardis was like, they do, it's you, it's you. So, like, the more I brushed it off, the more little things would happen.
But what did we do for you to think
well, it was
that
the
we didn't
initial
like
thing
you?
when my son was 3 months old.
No, but what did we do?
That's what you did.
What?
You came to Georgia, to Savannah, when my son was 3 months old, and I left out of town. So that was your opportunity to run in and say, Tardis, what are you doing with her? You could get a supermodel. Leave her. I had a 3-month-old baby.
No, this wasn't said. Tardis asked us our opinion.
I never asked you your opinion.
That's exactly what you did.
I never
He asked you if you think she's pretty
I never
enough?
asked for your approval. I
He
never
said,
asked
what
for
do
your
you think
approval.
I didn't say approval. You asked us how she looked.
That's
This is what the question
I
was.
never-
We were
I never
together
asked-
5 years before my first son was born. 5 years.
Yeah, so I would have
4
asked you
years.
like maybe year one.
Why would he ask you now that I had a 3-month-old baby?
He had asked us several times.
What did we think?
about
How did
Jamie?
we think? What did we think she looked?
He had me
What
think-
What did you
think?
say?
And I was honest with him. I told him exactly what I thought.
Which was?
I think that you can do better. But then that wasn't for him to go run back and tell her what we said.
Oh, you
Why
hurt
would you
him.
do that?
You hurt him. And now you don't think I'm going to notice? This is my husband, my love, my life.
I'm telling
I
my
noticed
son
something's
something in
wrong.
confidence. If we having this conversation, what does it profit him to go to her and say, this is what they said?
May I please speak? Okay. First of all, I never asked you your opinion of how my
That's
wife
exactly
looked. I never
what you
asked you. In
did.
fact, you and I, you were not even there. This was in Savannah, Georgia. Mom, you and my sister came up,
You
and you
asked him-
volunteered your opinion.
You asked him his
Like,
opinion.
No, I never
as you
would
have
ask
done
your
in the
opinion.
past
I
with
never
others,
would ask
with
your
other
opinion.
women.
I'm so
doesn't matter what I look like anyways.
I'm so beyond that. You have to
You
understand.
did.
Like we at that point, we've been together 5 years.
And we had a newborn baby, and that's when the support left. Like,
So then what I need for him to do, Dr. Phil, is stop calling us, telling us, I'm going to leave her. I'm tired of this. She's bipolar. I don't think that's just going to work out.
Once again, that was never said.
Now, down here, we have brothers and sisters, right? Now, Oriana, you say that she is whitewashing him?
Ever since my brother got with Jamie, he's slowly evolved into this different person. He doesn't talk the same. He doesn't eat the same foods. He doesn't even dress the same.
Well, how is that whitewashing? What do you mean whitewashing?
It's the way that he speaks. He doesn't speak the same. He's totally not the same person.
You mean he's not as black as he was?
Well, I can answer that. I can answer that question for you.
Sorry?
I can answer that question for you. It's not about being as black as he was, but it's our culture to be ourselves.
Right.
And he's totally lost sight of who we are as black people. Yes, sir, he has.
So you're not here to support her. That's what you said, but you're not.
We would support this if she would behave like an in-law should behave.
And later,
The kids and run somewhere with them.
2 hours before
So you
got
hide?
here.
So how is that our fault?
I knew how they all felt about me, and they all just told you.
Ever since Jamie has come into the picture, my brother Tardis and I have grown apart.
Jamie has ruined my family. Tardis needs to stand up to Jamie.
Growing up, my brother was very loving. He was very protective of me.
I looked up to my big brother. He's an awesome guy. My brother Tardis is the alpha male. When Tardis met Jamie, he slowly evolved into a different person. He changed the way he dressed. He changed the way he even eats. He changed the way that he even raises his children.
He seems like he's sort of trying to take on a new persona, and he's trying to be accepted by white America.
Tardis is whitewashed. He is an Uncle Tom. He tries to lessen his blackness. My brother Tardis is being controlled by his wife, Jamie.
My brother and I always got along. We were never at odds with each other. Now, my brother told me to lose his number last week and that he would do the same thing. This is not the brother that I remember.
They said you are a whitewashed Uncle Tom.
That's just simply ridiculous. Dr. Phil, my goal in life is change, okay? Like, they freeze frame at 18 years old. I'm 31 years old now. I left the house at 18 years old. I haven't been back. Like,
That's
my
right.
goal is change. I got a degree. I work in corporate America. I can't behave the same way I behaved when I was 18 years old.
And guess what? Nobody wants him to behave the same way that he behaved when he was 18 or when he was 20 or 25 or 30. But what we want him to do is stop allowing Jamie to control him.
It's obvious you got a lot of people around you that love you and care about you.
Absolutely.
And I think that's terrific. But I'm getting a mixed message here because you're saying, oh, I'm here to support you. But on the other hand, I'm hearing you guys say, and you say, that she's a bad influence on him, that she's controlling him, she's whitewashing him, she's turning him from who he was, she's robbing his culture from him, she's getting him to be somebody he's not. So how do you support that?
He called, first of all, and said, I need a break, I need some rest, I need somebody to help with the kids. He called and said that to her. 2 months in advance, my wife and my daughter go down there to get the boys, to bring them back to Atlanta. They get there. It was a big, this thing was just completely out of control. She blew up, ran, took the kids to the hotel room, accused us of taking
I had 2 hours notice.
Accused my wife and them of coming there to kidnap the kids. Trust me, we don't want to kidnap nobody's kids. That's the last one. I raised 8 kids, but that's not something we want to do. He knew exactly that they were coming to get the kids.
And I'm happy to.
No, of course I did. Yeah, of course.
I didn't know until 2 hours before they were coming that they were coming to get the kids.
He told me he didn't want to tell her because she would experience this major anxiety, and he didn't want to go through it.
I spoke to my mother a couple weeks beforehand. Okay, I spoke to my mother a couple weeks beforehand. That's correct. Several times.
2 months.
No,
ahead of time.
It was not 2 months.
Okay, regardless, 2 months or 2 days, whatever it was.
That's besides the point. I did. I spoke to my mother, and that you are correct, Oriana. My wife, she would have a huge anxiety attack. You're talking. My sons have never been away from us. They're babies. They're 4 and 2.
Less than 4.
In her defense, they're 4 and 2.
You called us. We didn't call you and say, hey, you know, of course we want to spend time.
Who are you asking, TARDIS or Jamie?
I'm speaking to TARDIS. Of course we want to spend time with our nephews, but why would you call us and not tell her and not communicate with her exactly like what's going on? And then when we get there, she has this big fit. She's accusing mom of wanting to take her children.
That's correct. Everything you're saying, that's correct. That's absolutely correct. And I admit where I'm wrong. And in this particular situation, I was wrong. It wasn't my mother. And it wasn't Jamie. They both reacted exactly how they're supposed to react. I was wrong. I tried a different way. I tried to put a spin on it, thinking that maybe I could put her right in the spot and she might allow the kids to go. In her defense, it didn't make sense. The trip just simply didn't make sense. You know, and I accept full responsibility for that situation.
But why are you living in fear of what Jamie might say to you?
Well,
I don't get it.
It's not living in fear.
Like
that particular situation didn't make sense.
Me as a mother.
It just simply didn't make sense. Now that I think back on it, it just simply didn't make sense.
Okay. All right. I was happy to let y'all discuss that scenario. Will somebody now answer my question? Because my question was, y'all say that you're supportive of this situation, but yet everything you say is that she is the puppet master, she is changing him, she is whitewashing him, she is controlling him, she is robbing him of his culture, she is taking him away from his family.
Everything that she does, as far as I'm concerned, and my kids are concerned, and my wife is concerned, she does everything she does is to undermine any type of move that we try to make to reach out to her or to embrace her or to have a relationship with the grandkids.
So you're not here to support her. You're not supportive of this relationship at all. That's what you said, but you're not.
We are.
In fact,
we are, but we want it to stop. That's why we're here today. We want all the bickering and the drama, the crying. Okay. We want all that to stop so we can have a relationship.
So you don't want to support it, you want to change it.
We want things to change.
You'd be able to support this as long as she would behave more consistently with what you think is healthy.
Not necessarily
we would we would support this if she would behave like an in-law should behave. Like I behave with her mother and father, like she behaves with my mother and father. Loving, kind, caring, supportive, those types of behaviors, instead of doing things that we think are undermining, slick, things like that.
Going to Savannah to tell my husband to leave me with my 3-month-old baby, that's not slick or undermining?
Nobody ever told him to leave you. If you listen at her and allow her to do this to you and take you away from your mother and your brothers and sisters and your family, something's seriously wrong. And we're at the wrong show. We don't need to be at Dr. Phil. We need to be at Intervention.
I know this isn't Intervention, but I'll do the best I can.
Jamie is a very manipulative person.
Since he met Jamie, he has changed. He's not the same TARDIS. He's just not the same person.
His parents think that it's my fault that he is who he is today.
I'm TARDIS. My dream was to always do something professional, and that's exactly what I'm doing.
He is an Uncle Tom. If he could snap his fingers and be a white guy, he would do it tomorrow.
I love my family. I love my immediate family. But my priorities are Jamie and my kids.
TARDIS has changed. Now the question is, does TARDIS think he's changed? He doesn't see it when Jamie's not there. TARDIS is open and we're talking and joking when Jamie's at the house. TARDIS is very sterile in all of his answers. He's real methodical.
Jamie has been very brutal to my son, yelling in his face, belittling him, treating him like he was a child. I said, TARDIS, you better get a backbone. Don't you ever let a woman talk to you in that way.
This marriage is not going to work. She has bipolar disorder. Now, this is what he's telling them. I don't know what he's telling her. This is what he's telling us. This is ridiculous. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to last in this, but I can't leave my boys. I got to stay there for the boys. You know, so I don't know how long, what this is all about.
What do you think about all that?
I'm completely confused, to be honest with you. TARDIS and I, since day one, we've been together for 8 years. If he had any type of issue with who I was, I definitely should have heard about it by now. I do have anxiety at times. He's calm and cool. It works. But
if that's the case, then why, Jamie, you coming across like You know, I want to have a relationship, and I want things to be good with his family. I want everything to work out with his family. That's not the case.
That's absolutely the case. That's why I'm here today, for him.
But that's the point. You're here for him.
Yes.
You're not trying to. You're not trying to. Let me tell you what I really believe. You know, because I want you to really understand what I believe.
I want to know.
Let me tell you what I believe. I really believe that this is another part of your ploy to get him to say, look, I tried to reach out. They're not really wanting to mend this relationship. This is not really going to work, so that you can go run off into the sunset. But one thing I do know, one thing I do realize in this whole thing, you're going to be with your family. And you're going to have a relationship with your family. And if you listen at her and allow her to do this to you and take you away from your mother and your brothers and sisters and your family, something's seriously wrong. And we're at the wrong show. We don't need to be at Dr. Phil. We need to be at Intervention.
They're not around us.
Intervention?
Yeah. Like, they don't see us, Dr. Phil.
These are conversations that my brother is having with us. He's calling us on the phone. He's telling us exactly what's going on. Now, a few seconds ago, she said that if you had problems with the way that she would have heard about it by now. Now, here we all are. Do you have problems with the way that she acts when she's nervous and when she's making a big deal about small things?
We've talked about
Do you
that.
have a problem with that?
Oriana, I know you think you're reinventing the wheel here. We've already spoken about this.
No, she's not thinking that she's reinventing the wheel. What she's saying is, when you pick the phone up and vent to them about things about her, and you pick the phone up and you call your mother and vent about things to your mother and stuff, and then they react to those things that you're telling them, then that's your fault.
Well, can I ask a question here? I know this isn't intervention, but I'll do the best I can. Why is the inner workings of their marriage any of your business?
Because he's making it our business. Because he's picking up the phone, calling them, telling them his business. No. That's why. No. That's why. Because he picks the phone up.
Because he's inviting you in.
The phone, right.
Because he's inviting you in.
Because he's picking the phone up, calling these people, putting them in his business.
I called my mother up. Definitely, that's no secret. Her anxiety is no secret. That's definitely an issue. Her and my mother, they don't get along. So anytime my mother comes to town, that's where the anxiety pops up.
The only time I have anxiety.
Yeah.
Oh, why do you have anxiety when I come to town? What did I do to you to make you have anxiety?
The particular thing was when you went to Savannah, when I was out of town, to try to talk him into leaving me for no reason.
That's not true.
That's true.
No, it's not. I never did that.
So by saying that he could get his
Listen,
that never happened.
You never imply and insinuate or insinuate that I should.
First he said that she said it. Now she implied.
No, what you said. She actually blamed it on you. For the record, she blamed it on you.
You're putting words in my mouth. I never said that.
You never said that.
What was the supermodel thing then? Did you want me to get a makeover?
I never said that.
If you want him to be with me, but you want him to be with a supermodel, what did you want?
I'm telling you a few minutes ago, and I'm going to tell you now, I never said that. I never said.
Why did you do it to begin with?
Why would I tell him to marry you if I'm going to tell him to leave you?
I need help.
And then why are you running with the kids and hiding with the kids that we want to take the kids and run somewhere with them?
I didn't know you were coming until 2 hours before you got there.
So how's that our fault?
She thought that you and I came up with this big elaborate plan to get the kids back to Atlanta.
You didn't even have plane tickets for them.
So in her defense, and I took full responsibility for that.
Okay, yeah, we've been over that. Hold on.
Yeah, we already covered that. Yeah.
I don't want to steal kids.
Yeah, you wanted to say something?
He keeps saying in her defense. Well, when is he ever going to come to our mother's defense?
It's all he does to me.
Well, hold on.
That's all he does to me.
Hold on. He keeps saying in her defense because there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people here attacking his wife.
Thank you.
We're not attacking her.
Yes, you are.
No, we're not.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
No, we're not.
Yes, you are.
You're not attacking her. You ask us the questions. Your producers ask us questions. So I thought you wanted us here to air this thing out. So this is what we're doing. We're not attacking anyone.
Yes,
we're
you are.
stating facts. What happened to us. What she told us. What he told us. It's not an attack.
In my view, it is an attack. What do you want to say?
We actually want to have a relationship with my brother and his wife. We actually, we
I
like
am floored that they even feel this way about me. To my face, they're like, love me. All this is just so weird. Like, that's why I'm here. I feel all this, and I've been telling him for years, and he's like, you're wrong, you're wrong. I knew how they all felt about me, and they all just told you.
I want you back, TARDIS. Be the old you. Be that guy for Mom. She cries every night wanting you back.
Bianca, when you say want you back, I can't ever come back and live in your house. I have my own family.
All right, we haven't heard from little sister. Brianna, what do you want to say?
TARDIS, I love you and I want you back.
I want you back, TARDIS. Be the old you.
Bianca.
Be that guy I looked up to. Now, be that guy, TARDIS.
Bianca, I left
Be
the
that
house at
guy for
18
Mom.
years old.
She cries every night wanting you back.
Bianca, when you say want you back, I can't
TARDIS.
ever come back and live in your house. I have my own family.
That's not what she's
I left at
saying.
18 years old. I'm 31 years old now. No, here's the thing. The problem is responsibility. I have responsibilities
TARDIS,
now.
you say
I'm
negative
the
things.
Responsibility.
I'm the
Everybody got
provider.
responsibility.
Can I speak, please?
I got responsibility. Everybody's got responsibility.
I'm the provider of my family. I'm in charge of people.
Welcome
People
to the club.
depend on- No. People depend. I don't expect you to understand this. You don't have kids. My job in life now, 1, be a great husband. 2, be a great father. 3, be a great role model to these kids. Period. Like, that's my goal.
Guess what? That's beautiful.
That's why
Thanks for the applause. But that's beautiful. But you know what? If you have to abandon your if you have to abandon your family to be all of that, then you're not successful at what you're trying to be.
But understand, once someone hits a certain age, they go out and chart their own course in life. They begin to make their own choices. They embrace their own values. And that's not a betrayal of all of you. And it's not that she's the evil, wicked witch that has changed him because of a cross-cultural influence here. It's just he is whoever he is choosing to become. This seems to me to be a very intelligent young man that is leading a family in a very responsible way. He is a contributing member of society. He seems to me to be very successful in the things that he does.
And we're proud of all that.
And I'm sure that you are. But to decide that because he is not living consistent with what you think he should be living with.
That's not what we're saying. That's what you're saying.
It is what you're saying.
That's not what I'm saying. No, it's not.
It is what you're saying.
No,
I mean, you say it and then you back off from it. And just because you say it loud and long doesn't make it so.
Well, you're telling me that I'm trying to get him to go lockstep and then live the type of life that we know he's an individual. We know he has his own life to live. But what we're saying to him is he can live that type of life and still include his mother, his brothers and sisters,
well,
and the rest
of course.
And
I would hope that he would.
And those grandkids can still have a relationship with him.
And I would think you would be very proud of the young man. Hold it for 1 second, because we got to take a break, and then you can ask it as soon as we come back. All right, next, we're going to talk about the day Tanya realized her son should not marry Jamie, plus why Freddie won't abide by Jamie's babysitting rules. We'll be right back.
The night of our rehearsal dinner was the very first time my mother had met TARDIS's mother. So I'm sure she was very overwhelmed and nervous. My mother had a little bit too much to drink.
She accidentally tripped over a chair. Yes, she had a few drinks in her. Jamie made such a scene. Jamie was yelling, screaming, accusing her mother of being drunk. I said, Jamie, calm down. Leave it alone already. And I was thinking, oh my God, what is my son marrying? I knew right then there was a problem.
You don't know my mother. You don't know our love, our situation, my mom and our relationship. You don't know any of that.
She wasn't drunk?
My reaction to my mom has nothing to do with you.
It was uncomfortable for me to see you acting that way.
We already knew the tears was going to come. They came in Savannah. They came in Rochester. Then they're going to come in L.A. We'd already know.
So wait a minute. Hold on. That is incredibly condescending and judgmental. Are you saying that this is just all, you said this is part of her ploy to get here and have another manipulation to drive a further wedge between TARDIS and his family?
You put it perfectly.
So that is what you think?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so this is not genuine at all?
At all.
So why did you get sucked into it?
What do you mean? I didn't get sucked into it. I'm telling you now what's happening. I'm telling you now.
So you knew this was all a ploy, but you came anyway?
Right. To say to him that we know that this is what she's going to do. We know what this whole scenario is about, and if you listening at that and you want to take that and go forward from here with that, that's on you. If you don't want your kids to have a relationship with their mother, their brothers and sisters, that's on you. So
bottom line, you think she's just conniving, manipulative, and just jerking his chain?
To the core.
To the core.
So in 4 years, if you bring it back, you'll shake my hand and tell me, hey, you got it.
So she's just an unredeemable, manipulative.
I didn't say unredeemable.
So there's hope.
I don't think that she's unredeemable. I think
hope springs eternal.
I want to turn this around. And being the mother that I am and a Christian woman that I am, I don't agree with tearing a family up. I want my family to come together. I want us to to be at family functions together. I want you guys to come and spend holidays with us. That's important to me.
He just said it. He just admitted it a couple seconds ago. And even on video, he said the same thing. Like, you know, you need to get rid of her, get the broad out of here, or whatever he said.
Basically, he's saying, behave like I want you to behave or hit the bricks.
No,
That's not what I'm saying.
No, that's pretty much what it is.
You can say that's what I'm saying, but that's not what I'm saying.
That's what I'm hearing.
In our culture, this is what it means. It means let's get this act together and let's come together as a family or leave it alone.
Let me ask you guys this. You say that you want this to, you said want us to be a family and be together.
Yes,
and I
do.
want that too. I believe you're sincere
I do.
about that, by the way.
And I do too.
But,
I do too.
Yeah,
and it feels good to hear
I
it.
believe that. But what is the foundation you build on when 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 of you are saying that she is robbing him of his character, his values, his culture, his family, his backbone, his strength, virtually everything. She is manipulative. This is all a ploy. And I'm going to shake his hand in 4 years because she's going to give him 4 more years of misery and just show me with 4 more years of history what a manipulative, condescending, controlling, bad person she is. Okay? Now, where is the foundation to build on this? You don't like her, do you?
No, I do.
Oh, you do?
You can ask her. We've never had coarse words with each other.
Like this.
But you say that she is whitewashing him. You said he's a whitewashed Uncle Tom. Is she not the one standing there with a whitewash brush?
Let me explain to you. And let me explain to you. Let me explain to you the why. Whenever you attack her, my mother, I'm never going to be down with you. I'm never going to be with your program.
You can't talk out of both sides of your mouth and make sense. You said, oh, I like her, but she attacks my mother. And when you do that, I ain't down with you, girl.
I'm not.
Well, then which is it?
Not.
So
Exactly
you either like her or
said.
you don't.
I have not a problem with Jamie.
It's
We've
not an
never
either
had
or
an
either.
issue with each other. But when it comes to my mother, and that goes for anyone in the audience, it even goes for my father. If you're disrespectful to her,
I get
let me
that.
ask you a question.
you mess with time with
That's
the
what it is.
horns.
Let me ask you a question. Did Jamie ever tell you off?
When did I disrespect
Did she?
you?
No. When did she tell you off? Did she ever tell you
Let me
off?
answer. When I was at your house last TARDIS, after I called you 2 months prior to let you know I was coming to get my grandsons, I'll tell you, they mean the world to me. There's nothing more important to me than those 2 boys. You know that, Jamie. You know that too.
I did until
But your son ambushed
what
her.
I'm saying to you,
Your son ambushed her.
What I'm saying to him,
It's not, but it isn't her fault either. He ambushed. He
We're
came
talking
2 hours later and said, by the way, your kids are leaving.
And once I found that out, I just didn't like her reaction. Her reaction should have been different since our mother-in-law's in the house, the respect.
Well, who are you to say that her reaction should be different?
Because
They're
it was
my
loud
babies.
and it was mean and it was geared toward my son. It made my son feel like a wimp in my eyes, and it didn't make me feel comfortable.
And honey, you don't have to accept
And when I went
that
into the
from her.
bathroom and could hear you yelling at my son, that broke me down, Jamie.
Broke
I felt
me down,
really
too.
bad.
Me too.
The point here is that you've articulated it very well. You think she is manipulative, you think she is controlling, the puppet master, and that he is the victim here.
And may I say this? This is my first time ever having a coarse word or even saying that or expressing my feelings about that because I kept them in. I'm saying them now because I've watched it, I've witnessed it, I've seen it play itself out, and so that's why I'm saying that.
Well, I'm guessing it's probably been more transparent than you might guess. My best advice for managing in-laws when we come back. Jamie says that her marriage to TARDIS is on the brink because of the in-laws. Now, TARDIS parents say Jamie wants to control how they babysit because she doesn't trust them. This is a good example. Take a look at this, and then we'll let y'all respond.
My in-laws definitely do not respect my rules and the way I raise my children.
And those rules and regulations that she has, use those rules and regulations at your house. I'm not gonna hide liquor bottles. I'm not gonna stop playing rap music when your kids come around. I'm gonna be Freddie, 24/7, 365. Now, if you don't want your kids to drink milk, I understand that. I won't give them milk. But don't tell me I can't give these kids a piece of candy. That's not gonna happen.
I do worry when my sons are in the care of my in-laws.
I feel as though Jamie and Tardis are shutting me out of my grandkids' lives.
But I do not feel like my in-laws are capable of caring for my children at their age.
If they don't want me to see my grandkids, that's fine.
Why are you not safe with them with me? What did I do?
What did you do? Do you really want me to say it?
What did I do?
Okay, you drove from to about 20 miles and with 5 adults in a Grand Prix with my kids on your lap.
The kids were supposed to go, the kids had to spend the night over with my wife when she went to Rochester at their aunt's house. Tardis dropped the kids off. He had the car seats. Tardis was supposed to meet them back at his aunt's house that morning with the car seats so that they could put the car seats in the car, take the kids to the church. Her father is a bishop. Excuse me. So when they waited for Tardis, and they waited, so they made an adult decision. We can't wait any longer. We're going to be late. We already waited an hour, so let's just put the kids in the car and drive and take the kids to the church. He gets to the church. First of all, she calls and goes completely off on my wife. Where are you now? This is what she said. Where are you now? Where exactly are you? Not hello, how you doing, this and that. But she's concerned about the kids. That's beautiful. It's not my wife's fault. He didn't keep his part of the bargain by bringing the seats. So what are they supposed to do? Just stay in the house and not go to the church?
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Call us so we can bring you the car seat.
All right, look, can I weigh in here for a minute? Seriously, let me weigh in here for a minute. And y'all may agree with me, you may not. You shouldn't drive around in the car with
and I agree with
kids in a car seat. But that aside, I can't figure out one thing in this whole scenario that you've done wrong. I'm serious. I can't figure out one thing you've done wrong. I think you're caught in a crossfire here, and I think you may be the calm in the middle of this storm that could maybe be the genesis of bringing some things back together here. Because you seem to me to be a very reasonable and loving woman. I think inviting other people into your marriage is a real bad decision. We're coming up to the holidays right now. And I've buried both my mother and father. And Robin has buried both her mother and father. And I can tell you when they're gone for a long, long time. And 5 years later, you can't even remember what that fight was about, what that dispute was about. And I would really hope that, as I said, every situation needs a hero. And, the only time is now. The past is over, the future hasn't happened yet. Nobody can change, not even God can change what's happened in the past. But the biggest gift you could give each other this holiday season is forgiveness. And you've got a matriarch here that can be the calm in the middle of this storm. And, a gift to me this Christmas season would be see those babies crawled up in her lap and a big smile on her face. All right, next, my top 3 warning signs about future mother-in-law problems when we come back. Well, during the break, we did make some progress, and I am so glad because I think that family is so very important. And, the truth is, we live in a very different world than we used to. It's a much more transient world. It's a much more fast-paced world. And that means that family is a more important anchor than it's ever been. Now, I've written a new book, the first one I've written in 5 years. It's called Life Code: The New Rules for Winning in the Real World. And it is based on the fact that we do live in a different world. The challenges are different. The rules are different. And when the rules change, you got to throw out the rule book because there has to be a new one. And you're going to read this and say, Dr. Phil, good grief, I can't believe you said some of this, because I'm promising you this is not politically correct and it is irreverent, but I'm going to tell you the truth. And it's going to be a truth that you need to hear. And I'm very proud to say that my book is actually being published by my son Jay's publishing company, And right now, it can only be purchased through their online bookstore, thebooknook.com, where it's available in an exclusive pre-sale. It won't go on sale in bookstores until sometime after the 1st of January. And everybody in the audience today is going home with a copy. All right? And I will tell you, you are among the first people in America to actually have this book. And I think you will really enjoy it. If you're worried about problems with a future mother-in-law, watch out for warning signs. If a future mother-in-law treats her son like a child and competes with you, be afraid, be very afraid. If a future mother-in-law is overly dependent on her son for emotional and lifestyle support, be afraid. If that mother-in-law attacks your character, be very afraid. I'll have more warning signs and advice on managing your in-laws on drphil.com. And daughter-in-laws, son-in-laws, remember, you're in-laws too.